Hi, my name is Angel, and today we're going to be going over the Decatur house. The Decatur house was constructed in 1818 for Stephen Decatur and his wife, and is now one of the oldest houses in Washington, D.C. Today, it is now a museum for African American history. This is great, and we love it. But behind these walls holds something much more sinister, something more grim and more sad than you can ever expect, something so painful. The tourists that come say they can feel it themselves. Upon entering the museum, tourists say that they feel a sharp pain in the lower abdomen, so bad they feel they need to grab onto nearby furniture just to stop themselves from collapsing to the ground. Other times we have tourists that run to the bathroom and violently vomit and question if they've been poisoned, and in some more severe cases, they go home with some signs of internal bleeding, which really sucks, and they go to the doctors, and trust me, it subsides, it goes away, but doctors don't know how to explain it, but I think I can. I believe that this is the ghostly influence of Stephen Decatur himself. You see, he was shot in the abdomen and suffered for 2 days in excruciating pain. And you may ask, why was he shot in the abdomen? He sounds like a great guy. I mean, naval hero, hello. Well, this was the cause of James Barron. I know, another naval commodore put into history. Well, let's backtrack and take a look at what really went down. So, in 1807, there was an incident, and James Barron used to be the commander of USS Chesapeake, and that got invaded in 1807 by the British MHS, or HMS, Her Majesty's ship Leopard. They attacked the ship searching for deserters, and 4 of them were captured, 1 of them was hung by a noose, and the rest of them were sent to brutal punishment. And James Barron rolled over and let it happen. He surrendered right away, and to the US, to the young US that was up and coming, this showed signs of weakness, of cowardice, and James couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that on the board, Stephen Decatur sat there and said, yeah, that's not cool, and you should be stripped of your title, because we want to show strength. We want to show tough. We want to show what the young America is all about, and he didn't do that. So for 5 years, he festered, and he held this grudge, and then James challenged Stephen Decatur to a duel where he shot him in the stomach, and his wound was so bad he was almost immediately sent to his home, where doctors tried in vain to save his life. 3 times they sewed up his stomach trying to heal the wounds, but he bled through. He continued to bleed through every sheet in his house. Eventually he succumbed. He succumbed to his pain, he succumbed to his wounds, even though throughout the nights he screamed, I did not know a man could come to such pain. And it was heartbreaking. And what's even more heartbreaking is when he laid there lifeless in his bed, his wife went to such hysteria, calling and crying and screaming that the doctors had to sedate her. She never recovered from her husband's death. It is said that almost immediately after his death, he was seen in the upstairs bedroom looking out the window, waiting and watching for James Barron, waiting for this duel to come. He stayed there so much that they ended up boarding up this window, and you think that would be the end of it, but no. It is said you could still see him today walking out the back door with a pistol in his back pocket and a pistol in his hand, ready and waiting for James Barron, reliving this day every day for over 200 years in history. He waits for James Barron. And I can only hope that after death he doesn't feel the same pain that he felt for 2 days laying in his bed. See, history is great, but sometimes it's a little more dark than you think. And that's the history of the Decatur house. Do we have any questions, comments, concern? Possibly some stomach pain?